Hi ladies, my name's Stacy Stiles. I'm a team leader with Color Straight Nails. I'm here today to teach you some tips and tricks on how to take a good nailfie. Step number one is to lotion your hands. Don't take a nailfie as soon as you put them on. I know you're excited about the set that you have on, but I would suggest to wait at least that hour of cure time before taking your nailfie. If you applied at night, just wait until the next day. Don't take it underneath your side table. It gives like a yellow, nasty yellow light, and it doesn't represent the nail color very well. So you want to make sure that you're in light where the lighting is actually going to represent the color excuse me, so that your customer has a better idea of what that color is actually going to look like. Step number two is to use cuticle oil on the nails and around the cuticles. It's going to, again, moisturize the hands and make them less dry. My suggestion is to use a nice window with some window light, the natural light. That's kind of my forte. I enjoy the natural light. It represents the colors very well. The second suggestion is to use a light box, and I have one of those as well, and I'll show you a picture of that. And then I don't always use a light box. I like to use my light box if I am trying to sell a few sets that I have. It gets really good pictures of the nails in their package. I am using my bedroom. I have a nice spot here on the end of my bed that I use for taking my nailfies. It's here in my natural light for my window. My suggestion is a north-facing window light. That's going to give you the best lighting in the house. It's not going to be in direct sunlight, so it's not going to give you those hard sun shadows and rays on the nails. So I'm going to flip this around and show you guys a few things on how to take some nailfies. So here we have this really pretty natural light here on my bedroom. I am also a natural light photographer, so finding the light is pretty easy for me. My suggestion is just to stay out of hard sunlight. Sometimes it's pretty to get the sparkle. Anyways, so also find something that is going to accentuate the nails. So with mine are red, so it's really not too hard to find something that's really going to make that stand out. So I have this little scarf here. I make sure that the bottom is kind of flat, and then I take a side and I'm going to fold it over for me to hold on to. So once you get down here to hold on to it, we're not squeezing it. We don't need to squeeze it real tight. You want to be nice and kind of motorcycle. I don't know if you all heard that or not, but it was really loud here. So you want to have a nice little gentle hold on the item. So my suggestion is to kind of get the fingers together. Your thumb, you don't ever want to do the claw. This is what we call the claw, and it is not very pretty to take a picture of. I know that some people want to get the pictures of their thumb, and that's great. You can also do something along these lines where you're kind of pressing the thumb over just a little bit to where you can actually see it a little bit more. So my suggestion would to be have the finger up just a little bit, the pointer, and then your ring finger is going to come below the middle finger, and then the pinky backs off just a bit. So here we are with the nailfie. Sometimes I like to get those reflections. See on my pointer how I have that reflection. If you kind of angle the fingers down a bit, you can get rid of the reflection there. So this is also another option on how you could do a nice flattery nailfie. You can tuck it under instead of grabbing a hold of it to where it kind of goes across the hand here. And then keep in mind, you only have this much space. So things that are like your watch and things like that can be edited out pretty easily. So this was another option I wanted to share with you guys. So I'm going to snap a few of that. Like I said, I like to have options. So I take and move my hand around in all different ways until I find exactly the position that I like for that particular nailfie. Okay, this is the app called Snapseed. This is what I use to edit my pictures after I have taken them. So you'll open the app, you'll find the picture that you want to edit. First thing I do is I like to go into my white balance option. And I usually select auto white balance just to see what it does. It's a little too orange for me, so I'm actually, if you click on it and then try to go up and down with your finger, and then you go left to right to adjust, you'll notice it kind of changes the temperature of the picture a little bit. So I want it a little yellow, not too yellow. And then going to tint, I'm going to bring that down just a little bit too. Excuse me, and then you'll click the check mark. And if you click, hold the finger on the picture and you scroll up and down, you can see the before and after. If you notice, the before is a little yellow, blue looking, and then the after definitely looks a lot more natural. So then the next option, I like to go to Tune Image, and I do the auto tune at the bottom. Usually it does a pretty good job. This is where you're going to get your brightness, contrast, saturation, ambience, highlights, shadows, and your warmth. I think it looks pretty good just like that, so I'm just going to kind of leave it on the settings that it is. Now, this is the next effect that I like to do. It is called the Glamour Glow. Here in the center, if you notice, the higher you get, it's very glowy and soft. I don't usually go that high. I like for my pictures to look really natural, but I also like to smooth my skin a little bit, and the Glamour Glow helps with that. So I bump mine down usually a little bit. So then I'm done with that one. The next effect that I like to do is the healing. With the healing, you can zoom in, and if you'll notice, I have little spots on my fingers. I can go in and clean up those. Oops. If you ever do that, you just hit that back button. Also, you can make your brush bigger and smaller by zooming in. Also, you have to use 2 fingers to move the picture, by the way. So if you ever have little spots on your fingers, maybe you have some dry cuticles or some dry skin, you can go in and clean that up. I think that looks pretty good. So if you want to, you can see your before and after. The last thing that I like to do is this lens blur. And then you can make it, I usually make it as wide as my fingers so that it's not blurry on my fingers. If you click on the blue dot, you can move it around. I do like for my blur strength to be up there because I don't want the outside of the picture. I want my nails to really stand out. And then I also like a little bit more of a vignette around the outside, which is the darkening on the outside. Last but not least, the last thing will be the text. I tend to go pretty basic with my text. So you double click. It's all capital, so we don't really have to worry about capitalizing all of that. You can make it bigger and smaller. I tend to put it across my nails, across my fingers. It's a lot harder for people to edit out. I like to have my name on my Nailfies just in case they get used. I'll notice that it's mine on Facebook or Instagram or something. So like I said, I like to position it across my fingers. If you go to the middle button here, you can actually make it lighter or all the way dark. So it's your opacity. I don't do it all the way white. I do tone it down just a bit most of the time. And then you'll hit the check mark. So in a nutshell, this would be what I would do for a typical edit. Making sure that the nail color itself represents the color as much as we can. So This is a typical edit after I take a Nailfie, and then we'll export and save, and then it'll save it right to your pictures. So basically that's all you would need to do as far as an edit goes, and it's ready to share.